burden of poverty has also increased on women as we continue to hear these examples through our community radio programs. Women have unpaid work in the home, and then they are working additional hours, sometimes for like 12, 14 hours a day through income generating programs to make ends meet. So to discuss economic security, we welcome Mrs. Walyamaswamy. She is the National President of the TISI Sangam Women's Wing, Etawate Nderanalangi from Nawaka Village, Meriwai Rita from Oceania Pride, and Salote Nasovu, who's the President of the Tumenosolo Women's Club. Thank you all for joining us on Rainbow Connections, Radio with Pictures on MyTV, and Fem Talk 89 FM today. I'm going to start with you, Salote, because you typify what a lot of market vendors have to experience across Fiji. And one of those things is the cost of transportation. You mentioned $200 just to bring your produce down to the market and then to get back home. So how are you making ends meet? What's the budget? How much do you have to earn?
Thank you, Sharon. Firstly, I have to explain where Venezuela is.
Yes, please.
Venezuela is right on the far away on the hillside, last village of the Tina of Nawaka. And coming down there from Venezuela for coming to the market. So we have to wake up quite early, 3 to 4 a.m. in the morning as the cold breeze. So we taking up crops on that day, before that day, carrying the horses to bring it to the carrier where it's still on the hill. And the carrier doesn't come right down to the village. So we have to struggle with coming right up with the horse or carrying up our crops up there, our products. So saying just one bottle of one sack of dal, some cassava, some vegetables. So we have to come right early in the morning there as a market vendor, as a mother of four in the family. So I have to look back in my family. So what we have to eat, sometimes we have no water up there. So we have to come on, say 4 of us, we have to hire a carrier for $100 coming in and $100 back. So we can collect, say 8 ladies going back. For that $100 to coming down to the market. Right early in the morning, we have to reach, take 1.5 hours to reach the market. So we come in there waiting for the market to be open at 6 or 7. So we have to go in on that first day. We have to spend 3 or 4 days there. So we staying there, we're hungry, and we have to, on the first day, we have to spend selling our products to pay our fare. So for that $100, so each of us have to have $50 to pay our fare. After then, our expenses on food we eat, and sometimes we go and sleep to the family near the town. So we have to take something there. So at the end of the selling products of 1 week, it's not enough for us to take the food back. There's not enough for the community money for like church community, village community. There's not enough for market vendors. So that's all I can tell about ladies living right up in the hilly side of the country we stay in here.
It's a real struggle, isn't it?
Yes.
So thank you for sharing your story. Because it is a story of women across Fiji as well, that even with market improvements, as you said, there's so many other dimensions to it. What would be a solution, and why aren't people coming to buy from you, for example, so that you don't have to go to the market?
There could be a better solution for us as we market vendors, especially us ladies. So we have to leave the family Eh? So we're coming up, missing the members of the family, especially children. So it's better to be like that. So I recommend if boys come up to vendors right up in the interior of the Fiji Island to come and buy to us. So
And then you don't have to worry about all those extra expenses and leaving the families behind. But living all the way out of Nadi town and up in the mountains, how much cash do you actually need? You mentioned community expenses. Obviously, you have school expenses. How much would you like to be earning a week or a month to be able to have the cash you need to pay for things?
Okay, Sharon, especially we need, say, $200 to pay that, and not $200 itself. So we need a week, say, $300 to make the challenge those
to meet your expenses. So
expenses.
$300 a week, even living all the way out of town. Thank you so much. I'm going to come to you, Mrs. Swami. You're the president of the TISI Sangam Women's Wing. You've recently had your Sangam convention as well. So you obviously had a whole lot of members coming together. What are you hearing from your members across Fiji when it comes to their economic security?
Thank you, Sharon. Well, this is a very widely spoken topic. Everyone, for that matter, they talk on the same thing. Not affordable, unaffordable. And traveling, like my women from Lambasa, I have to tell you a short story here. I advised them. Actually, we had taken a project on virgin coconut oil, and then those ladies, they learned how to do it. They're selling that. And they made an effort to prepare the oil and bring here in the convention to sell. So that was one way out for them to fork out the expenses which they had.
Why are women having to turn to the virgin coconut oil project? What is the cost of living that they're facing? I mean, there is a rising cost of living.
Yes, definitely. This cost of living is too high compared to the wages people are getting, and the reduced hours of work for the family members. And so many of them, we have learned that they are out of job now due to the current situation of these economic problems. And just to meet the expenses or feed the family around, they have to do extra jobs or just depend on this to generate income for their families to meet the daily requirements.
Salote just mentioned $200 to $300 is what a family needs these days to buy groceries, pay the bills, keep up with the school expenses. Is that the same for your members?
Yes, definitely, because the consuming products are very expensive. The products which they take up daily, bread, milk, the price of one packet is about $8.
And more on Vanua level.
Yeah, more added to the remote areas.
Yes.
Like our members are from all different areas, rural. And so the cost is added for transport and other things when they buy things.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Swami. I'm going to come to you, Mary Wairita. You're a member of Oceania Pride. You've heard what Mrs. Swami has just said. You've heard from Salote as well. Is this situation something that the members of Oceania Pride and yourself also experience?
I would like to introduce myself. I'm Narwarita. I'm from Batu village, but I'm a new member of the Oceania Pride. Like they are telling about the problem about the economy. But it's really hard to manage everything about the money, the family.
Do you have a job? How are you coping?
There's only one breadwinner in our family. It's my husband. And I've got a part-time job too, sometimes in some houses, like
Housekeeping?
Housekeeping.
Okay.
So it's helping my family.
How much do you and your husband have to earn every week? What would you like to be earning in order to provide for your family?
Like if it's $300 a week, that's enough. But the thing you earn, it's not enough for a family. Because plenty people in our family, like education, any other expenses, but it's not enough for a family.
So you agree that $200 to $300 mark is what family budgets are aspiring for right now. That's what the family expenses looks like. Edwate, young people, young men, what's your economic security looking like? Is it about jobs? Is it about working the plantation?
First of all, the main problem that us youths are facing today is our needs have been heard by our elders, our leaders in different communities, and we face a lot of unemployment. Because a lot of us have finished graduating in different university, but still there are lots of job opportunities available to us. And also, as youth, we are not making useful of our resources around us.
Let's talk about the unemployment issue, because how do you feel when, as you said, you've studied hard, you've graduated, but there is no job? What does that make you feel like? How are young people, including, and well, in particular, young men, how are they feeling?
As for me, I would feel neglected by our leaders. Like they will not. It's like they are not listening to us. They are pushing us aside. But to us, it's like we want to try and work with them so that we become better leaders for tomorrow.
Okay. Now, you also said that some of the young people are not taking advantage of the plantations that they have in the villages. Not all young people have access to land, but what would you like to see? I mean, how would you like to motivate young people that have access to land?
First of all, it's the parents and guardians who should empower the young youths to start growing their own plantation at home to save time, to save money. At least for when you're waiting for your job opportunities to open up, you can at least try and engage yourself in outdoor activities that are provided by our community.
So you're saying be productive even if you don't have the kind of job that you're looking for, yeah?
Yes.
Do you plant?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about your what do you do? I mean, what's your
At the
typical
meantime,
day?
I'm just staying at home. I'm waiting for my job, and my father every morning, every single day, he encourages me to plant, to grow some food. I have a small farm at home, and we use it in our everyday life.
What are you planting?
Cassava, dalo, and some vegetables.
And do you anticipate taking the cassava and dalo to the market to sell?
I prefer to use it for the family.
So you're contributing to the family by growing from your own little plantation.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Etuate. I mean, but it doesn't put the cash in the pocket, right? What would you say is the need for cash in the pocket? How does that make a difference?
This for us youths who are living in the urban areas. So for youths who are living in the rural areas, the Department of Agriculture should make an effort to reach out for them to provide microfinance for them so that they can bring their product to the market and sell it for their own income.
So once again, the kind of encourage the young people to get involved in agriculture, but also help them access the markets. It seems to be a running issue. Let's come back to strategies then. What kind of economic strategies or development priorities would you like to see in order to respond to these kinds of needs? Etwate's just highlighted the role of the Department of Agriculture. Mrs. Swami, what are the strategies you were using? You mentioned virgin oil.
Yes, as leaders and community workers, we are normally advising, educating, and encouraging the women and the younger youth around to use their skills, normal skills which they have, and the resources around to generate income for themselves. In other words, they get self-employed, like floriculture is there, and poultry, backyard gardening, and catering, sewing, all these, the natural talents which the women have. They can use its skills and use the funds to, and use other methods which is more suitable in their own environment to get into, derive more income for themselves and the family. And the groups, in the rural areas, we advise the women, like there are currently in homes, there are very few people left. People are out and away in education and abroad. So they get into their groups to work and they can share the funds.
Okay. Yeah. Mary Y. Rita, I'm just wondering whether, in listening to what Mrs. Swami is saying about getting groups together and accessing training, is this something that you've been able to do or would be of interest to you?
Form a group and work together. Like nowadays, youth and children, the youth, they are lazy.
They're what?
They are lazy.
They're lazy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can prove it at my home.
Right.
When you tell them to go into something, they must. So there's only one thing we can do to form a group so that they can work together and make something together.
What kind of training is needed then to motivate youth? I'm going to ask both you and Etwate. What kind of training is needed? So apart from the skills of farming, how can you, it's obviously a motivation issue. So how can you motivate young people?
As I think we should have more workshops like this so that we encourage us youth to participate in this work, so that it gives us more the feeling that we are being heard, that we are being, the people are listening to us, and we can show that we can share our ideas where all of us can help each other and work together so that we can provide for our people.
So it's about being heard, it's about being acknowledged and not just being told, go to the plantation. Okay, Salote, up in the village in the mountains, the Menasolo, what kind of assistance, leadership? So if you were to be able to sell your produce from the doorstep, so to speak, what kind of training would you like to be able to manage that kind of trade or commerce?
Thank you, Sharon. Right up there in the village, the one solution is that I refer to all these members. That's the main thing. We have to work together, okay? As men and women in the village and children. We have to work together. Say, as a group, in five men, we're working there together. Go and do one plantation. They go together there, and the ladies cook. So the children help to. They can make in a day. We end up in a big place at planted. So the second one, the cut grog. That causes laziness.
Cut down the consumption of grog.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many men are drinking grog now. So causing laziness in the day. So we have to cut down grog and make use of the time. So wake up early in the morning so we can go to the plantation. Come and wait for the breakfast. Then after that you have afternoon. You go back. So make use of the time of the day. So we can produce so many products end of the day or end of the week. Say 10 out of 100 steps of a cassava you plant today, 100 tomorrow, 500 in a week. So we have to work together. We have to do the timetable of our work as a day.
So will that mean making some changes? Because you're talking about increasing productivity at the village level. And does that mean more women need to be in charge of managing the production?
Women,
Yes.
yes, we have to.
Who's going to manage the timetable? Who's going to?
Women, because men always speak generally. As we are women decision, we make a decision in our family. Say, we want to worry about this. What are we going to eat? What are we going to have? So we encourage men, go out in the field and plant more so we can get more.
Okay, Mrs. Swami over here is going, yes, yes, yes. Mrs. Swami, how are you organizing, because you mentioned that you're really encouraging your members to organize, to be productive. Do you provide them with extra leadership training or financial management training? What do you do? I mean, what could be some of the skills that Salote also thinks about?
Yes, that's true what she has said. And that's where I plan my work. And we work with the leaders and we explain them and talk to them and we encourage them. And of course, these trainings and workshops, they are very helpful. Like this with the virgin coconut oil. Also, it's not only my own community, I have the other communities as well. From Ministry of Women, I had been to your service to train the women there to produce this virgin coconut oil. And they did a very good job. They sold their product in Lotoka when they had the show.
So the training that you provide, is it only about how to produce the oil or is it about time management, budgeting?
Yeah, the process is there, as you said, and with that comes the other aspects as well. The motivation is very important. They need to be motivated, encouraged, inspired, and always assisted as well, and monitored.
Okay. Etwate, if you were to think about the young men or the young people in Nawaka village, what kind of training would you organize to be able to give them the kinds of skills, motivation, time management, productivity?
I would recommend that we should be able to participate in the Sunguni Vaka Para in the village so that our voices are being heard and so that our elders listen to us and they encourage us to take part in this community.
So it's almost getting back into decision making, that's what you're saying. So it's part of the village or the community life, not just a separate workshop. What do you think, Mariwai?
Youth like nowadays, like we stay in the village, they used to running around the village, not doing anything. So there's a good thing to do from the youth and work together so that they can do what they have to do.
Okay, thank you so much. We're talking economic security with Walyam Swami, Ekuwatindera Nalangi, Mariwai Rita, and Salote Nasovu. Mrs. Swami, to come back, because economic security is very much linked to health security, it's linked to the fact that we're trying to prevent non-communicable diseases as well. From what you're seeing at the community level across Fiji, what are families having to give up when they can't afford everything on the shopping list? Milk, you said, is too expensive.
Yes, looking at these things, people are having a lot of, they're getting into a lot of troubles, like their household issues. If they are not, if it's not manageable, then they get into, arguments, and these arguments further leads to social problems, in which everybody is affected.
Right.
Like from home to the community and to the country as well.
Salote, if you don't make ends meet in the 3 to 4 days that you have in the market, what can't you buy to take back up to the mountains?
Oh, thank you, Sharon. As we up there in the village, so I have to take groceries like sugar, flour, dal,
and first or 2 days with bread and butter, so we can just have that for one day. And tin fish like that, just to make it with some vegetables up there, or otherwise salt. Yeah, it's the main thing there. So otherwise we just have vegetables and things from the river, fish from the river to cater us on this week.
And if you don't earn enough, what do you give up what do you give up?
Yeah, I don't have to take bread and butter. I don't have to take dal. So the main thing up there is sugar and salt. That's all.
Mirawa, you mentioned that your husband has a job. You sometimes do domestic work, but collectively you need to earn about $300 to be able to buy everything on the list. What are you having to give up right now then? What can't you buy? What can't you do if you don't earn $300 a week?
Sometimes we can accomplish do anything, help our family, or plant more vegetables and such other things.